Hoosiers win 92-74 at Assembly Hall. Was anticipated. Oregon was and is second to last in the Big Ten. It was a must win for the Hoosiers. Overall, liked what I saw, especially in the second half. And we continue to build on some progress from the overtime win that we had later last week, or earlier last week. So, what are we looking at? Well, the best things that come out that we have to continue to build upon are Sam Alexis with 16 points. IU also have and pounding points in the paint, 30 points in the paint. So that has been the key, especially when some of our shooters are not shooting. Tucker DeVries continued to shoot all right with 15 points. So like to see him with more than 5 points or 6 points. So that was good. Out of control, Lamar Wilkerson again, 41 points. He has the number 3 and the number 1 most points scored in a game at Assembly Hall. So when he is shooting, he is shooting. We continued though to also build on the fact that we have our starting five of Sam Alexis, Tucker DeVries, Lamar Wilkerson, Nick Dorn. But Connor Enright also getting significant minutes with 35 minutes in the game. And Reed Bailey, Trent Sicily, and Josiah Miles. This game also saw Tatum Connerway and Aleska Ristic getting some minutes. And so that was quite interesting. It's the first time that we've dipped that deep into the bench, but of course we were at home. We were up 20 at the time, so it was some interesting minutes there. But Josiah Miles getting some time again. Unfortunately, he had no points, and neither did Trent Sicily with 6 minutes in and 0 points. Like to see those guys score. They took a couple of empty shots, bad choices in the minutes that they were providing. But as I've stated in previous breakdowns, when we are subbing those guys in, it's to either give our shooters, DeVries, Wilkerson, or Sam Alexis, not a shooter, but playing in the paint, some alleviation, a break, get resettled, recentered, rest, whatever that they need in order to put them back into the game, because those are your big rebound and your big point producers. They need time, and coach was just not doing that the first half of the season. And so that has become a good trend that I like, that if those guys are showing slow start, cold shots right out of the gate, bring in Sicily, bring in Josiah Miles, get them some minutes on the floor to let the other guys reset, and then swap them back in. And it's building also their experience level. It's getting them time on the court. It's enhancing the team overall, especially when we have to count on those guys if we end up having a game where we have to run deep into the bench. So overall, really liked what I saw for the rotation, the starters, the overall game plan for the game at home. Of course, the crowd's into it. The Ducks are at the bottom of the standings, so it was a must win. And we showed up and we played it. We put together a pretty decent game. Overall field goals shooting at 60%, 30 of 50. 3-point, we've raised our percentage back to 40% from the 3, so I like that. That was almost solely on the back of Lamar Wilkerson, but hey, I'll take it. Free throws, would like to get those up. We're still kind of, oddly enough, we seem to fluctuate. We'll go from games where we're hitting 90% back down to games where we're hitting 70. This was one of those games, 77%, 21 of 27. I'm not going to argue with getting 27 free throws. That's they're doing their job. But we probably could have tightened a couple of those up and boosted that into the 80%. We'd be sitting very pretty. Total rebounds, we out rebounded Oregon, which was awesome, 28-23. Points in the paint. Again, for IU being at the size and strength disadvantage to a lot of our pure Big Ten opponents, we've got to get sets and reps in of getting strong rebounds and getting that taste and those sets and reps of just how do I do it? How do I feel? kinesthetically, how does my body feel? Where am I positioning itself? What's my timing like? They've got to get those sets and reps in against teams that they can take advantage of, so that we're not doing it the first time against teams that have 7-footers. And so we took advantage of that during this game, and I liked it. Stat I didn't like, turnovers at 9. It's better than it has been. It's not double digits. I know I complain about that a lot, but against a team like Oregon at home, we need to get to like 5. You know, I want to see 5 or fewer turnovers, and that's the sign to me of a well-disciplined, well-ball handling ball program, and we just aren't getting there yet, and that kind of bothers me, and so you know we cannot, if we're doing that against teams who are second to last in the conference, we're going to be in the double digits against a team that can play good defense and force turnovers. And so that leads to points, and that leads to point differentials, and that leads to pressure on the offense to have to score, which leads to bad shot selection or rush shot selection, which leads to misses, which leads to fewer points and losing the game.